afternoon at this point. Thank you so much for turning out on a really beautiful day. My name is Kate Bland. I'm the editorial director of IndieWire. But my little joke is that no one is here to see me. You guys are so kind to clap for me. You're here to see Jay Kelly himself, Mr. George Clooney.
Very sweet. We have time for one more question.
George, I was going to ask, what's it like showing a movie like this to a crowd full of fellow actors?
Well, it's nice doing it to actors because they kind of understand all the things. It's like, you know that scene with Good and Crude? By the way, how fucking great is He's not a method actor. And we were rehearsing and I was like, what the fuck are you gonna do? And he's like, I don't know. And then he does that. And I was just I was an audience member like you guys were. But it's funny to, you guys see movies all the time about show business. We do them a lot, and they don't often get it really right. I'm always watching a movie going, that's not how we do that. That's not. And the thing I liked about this and a lot of this was that it kind of got actors right. It got how we make films right, which is different than we see a lot. And so it was enjoyable to do.
Well, at what point do you show this movie to your own team, to your own manager, your own publicist, your own costume?
I don't have a massive team. I'm too old. I have an assistant who's here, and I have an agent. I don't have a manager. I never have. And I do have a publicist who told me not to do this. But I do have there's a lot of these trappings that you see, and we've all met famous people before who actually have those kind of things. But it's kind of the way I was able to separate from this thing. People will be like, "Oh, you're just playing yourself in this." I go, "Well, I hope not, because the guy's a dick." But maybe telling me something. Yeah, when he said I wrote this with you in mind, I was like, "Fuck you." Anyway, but I don't live with the kind of regret that this guy has, and as I get older, and as many of my friends get older, and my family gets older, you're finding that this the only toxic thing you have really as you get older is regret. Failure is easy, and most of your actors. I mean, how many auditions do you go on? And every time you don't get it, it's a failure, right? And we have to go, and it hurts because we're not encyclopedia salesmen. The goods we're selling is ourselves. And when they say no, you're like, oh, fuck. So there is that, Yeah. Anyway, it's just it's an interesting element, and regret. So failure, you learn from it, or you grow from it, or you get a tougher skin. It's easy for many of you probably aren't from New York originally as an actor. You probably came here from. I came from Augusta, Kentucky, where I was a tobacco farmer, and you go on all these auditions and you go, well, I took a shot, and if it doesn't work out, it's easy when you get older to go, yeah, I gave it a shot, it didn't work out, which happens, but you can't do it when you're old and you didn't try. That's regret, and this is a guy who has nothing but regret. He regrets his relationship with his father, he regrets the relationship with his kids, he regrets, the relationship with women in his life. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of regret and not spending enough time with people you love. And so I don't have much of that. I mean, I have kids that, they still like me, they're 8. We know they're gonna be in therapy no matter what. They're just from Batman and Robin, they're gonna be in therapy. My dad had rubber fucking nipples. Disaster. But I've been very lucky to not have to have much of the sort of regrets.
Well, okay, when Noah comes to you with this and says, I wrote this for you,
Yeah.
before you get to oh, how dare you,
Right.
what sells you on this?
The phone call that said Noah wants you to do a film. I mean, how many directors are there that we want to go, oh, I'd do anything with? I do that with the Coen brothers. I've done 5 films with them, and with Soderbergh, I've done 7 or 8. And Alexander Payne, I have a few that you just go, if they call you, you're like, I'm in, I'm done, I'm in. And he's one of those. I stalked him after I saw Squid and the Whale. And I was like, you give a brother a job. And it took him 20 years, but he finally did it. Now I'm like, the Golden Girls, and it's like,
But then you sort of mentioned this, like how do you and Noah go in and find the line between George and Jay? And when you want to bring George stuff,
well, I didn't know. I mean, that last scene, I didn't know he was going to use clips of my actual fucking movie. He didn't tell me. And so you see me grab Adam's hand. It was the first thing. I literally grabbed his hand. I was like, what the fuck? And there's all the things that you go through when you're watching. That's the first take. We did, no, you do more takes. But that was the first take. And it was really fascinating because, you go through all the things we all go through, which is you watch yourself age, which you have to make peace with. You also look at some fucking horrible mullets and some really and you have to kind of get through all of that. And it does, you do get this thing of like, God, that was just yesterday, wasn't it, that I was on, ER or something, and it really does go by fast, and the older you get, the faster it seems to go.
Well, I was going to ask, I didn't realize that you didn't know
No.
what they were, okay, what did you think it was going to be?
I thought basically they were going to kind of play it on us, and you'd hear, and I thought maybe they'd do some CGI thing. There's no CGI in the movie. So when you see me go, yes, cool, shot on film. But like when you see me go from the airplane into the acting class is built onto the back of the airplane. And all those things, like the thing where I'm talking to the mirror saying, Jay Kelly, I duck down, and then I duck underneath the camera. I duck down to wash my face, I duck underneath the camera. I come up on the other side, they've slid, and they took a shot of my daughter running out on the train platform. And now they've slid out the mirror, and when I come back up, it looks like it's a reflection of me, but it's actually me. And then the camera goes over my shoulders, I look back into Riley, my daughter's, kindergarten class. And then as the camera goes by me, I'm still doing my lines, but I have to take off I've got a Velcroed suit on. And I take that on, and now I'm in this plaid, howdy doody shirt, and I walk into my own over. So, everything, it was really like, old school, let's put on a show kind of stuff. It was really, the first scene is a 12-page oneer, By the way, we were worried about the dog. Dog was perfect. Perfect every time. Adam, on the other hand, I had to put a little anchovy paste on my sandwich. I got better. By the way, he was going to be here today. He's got his sister's having some surgery, so he's there with her. And in the proper theme of this movie, I'm here. My parents are literally in a hospital right now. But I thought it'd be better to be here with you.
Well, he's not here, but let's talk about Adam. Because if there is a...
What a performance,
If there is a love story in this movie, it's Jay and Ron, and you guys had not worked together before that.
No, just on Saturday Night Live. I did that in '95 or something with him. But no, we've been friends. We played basketball together for a long time, and we always tried to find something to do. It's tricky because we just, it's about timing and what's right. And he didn't call me for Happy Gilmore too. Yeah, what's wrong with that fucking guy? And so. But from the minute we started rehearsing, it was really evident that he had a real grasp of what he wanted to do. And there's a funny thing when you work with actors that you know well and trust. You know how when we do this, you guys, it's like most of the time that somebody says a line and then somebody says a line. So And that's not how we talk. We overlap and we talk on top of each other. And the danger when you have a writer-director is that they love to hear all of their words. So you have to find a way to be able to overlap and yet not miss the important stuff. And Adam had Adam and I working together, but Adam really had a real understanding of how to make sure you heard the important stuff, but to be able to keep it alive. He did a beautiful job. He's a wonderful actor.
Well, you being friends, knowing each other for a long time, I'm sure being huge admirers of each other's work, you have to get to this. You have to get into the Jay and Ron, they've known each other forever mindset. So I was really curious if you could recall like an Adam performance from way back, like the first time or the second time that you saw him, and you're like, oh, this guy.
Oh well, I mean, obviously in his comedies, but was it Punch Drunk Love, the Paul Thompson? That was the first time I saw him do something straight. And you go, oh, this is a whole long career for this guy. He's not going to just have to do comedy. It's hard, you know, if you get famous for doing comedy, if you get famous for doing drama and then you do a comedy, you know, like if De Niro does Meet the Parents, you're like, great, and it's funny. It's very hard to do it the other way around for people to take you seriously. And he does it really beautifully. He's just I mean, there's so many. Josh Hamilton is a shrink, and it's just absolute. You know, the first take, I couldn't get through it. I just had to get up and leave the room. Like, when he starts weeping, I mean, it's in the script, but it's not like that. You know, you're like, oh my God. But all of these, you know, Jay Rodman, I mean, these actors that are, it was just so much fun, and I felt very lucky to be working with those guys.
Well, you also have the benefit of another writer being on set, the great Emily Mortimer, who co-wrote this with Noah.
Yeah.
She's so funny. It was good to see her. What did she have any extra tips for you about, like, well, George, that's not how we imagined it?
No, because that really, by the time we got to that point, it's really in the director's lap. And she's very deferential, as you are when you write a script to, you know, the director. But I will say, it's, you know, what a thrill. I mean, forgetting that she and Noah wrote a beautiful script. She's just one of those actresses that it's so much fun to be in a room with. You know, she's had this long, amazing career. Her father was this crazy, nutty barrister, and I mean, she's something special, and it's kind of acting royalty to be around her, and it was fun to do. Listen, Laura Dern, Laura Dern and I did our She couldn't be here, obviously. Her mom just passed away, and it's been a tough time. This is a rough time for this cast. It really is. She and I did our first movie in 1983 called Grizzly 2: The Predator. Oh, you're a fan. And it was a Hungarian production, and we went to Hungary. But this is when it's communist Hungary, you know, and you're like, you get in, and you know, you're like, there's a piece of chicken there in their room waiting for you, and it was funded by these Hungarians, and then they lost the money, and so we got stuck there for like 2 months. And it was, you know, Laura and Charlie Sheen and I, it was all of our first films, and we're stuck there for like 2 months, and we can't get home, we don't know what to do, and literally we get killed we get eaten by a bear in the first scene. And so it never comes out, thank Christ. And then like 2 years ago, some schmuck finds it, and he gets a bunch of like old footage of shit, and he puts it together, and now it's, of course, starring, you know, George Clooney. And it comes out. And after 40 years, I'm getting just the worst reviews of my life. It was just unbelievable. I called Laura, I was like, what the fuck? She's like, I don't know. So she's been literally a really close friend for over 40 years. So just the chance to work with, you know, people that I greatly admire and love being around. You know, we're lucky. We all get to not grow up. You know, we get to play, and I feel very lucky. Every day, I still feel very lucky.
Well, we were talking about this a little backstage. You are also a filmmaker, and I'm so curious about when you're on someone else's set, what you are taking in as like, oh, well, maybe I'll use that later. You're not going to do the many takes that Noah does, but what else?
Well, I'd be dead by then. Well, you do. You work when you go to somebody's set. You work the way they want to work, right? That's how it works. And actors work differently. Some actors are method actors. Some are just sort of scene study. Tell the event and do the story. It kind of just comes down to what the results are. But I do, and you certainly, if you trust the director, you don't interfere with their process. You try to help them get what they want. You try to do that. Listen, when you're on a set and it's clear that the director doesn't know what the hell he's doing, then you have to kind of protect yourself because it's your face out there. But if you're working with directors that you trust and love, you're just trying to not screw it up, honestly. When you read a script like this, my first take is, man, I hope I don't mess it up. That's a big part of it.
Well, it's funny, I don't know if anyone else saw this, but for the past, last 10 minutes of the movie, George was watching. And I think that that's so interesting because I so often talk to actors who say, oh, I don't want to watch myself. Have you all, do you enjoy watching yourself? Or
No,
was it
but
just being with this crowd?
Well, this is actors, and this is a movie about actors, and the last 10 minutes are kind of interesting storytelling because it's also about how I think we all feel. This isn't just about this amorphous movie star. It's about sort of our careers and our work, and I thought it'd be interesting to come in and hear how it played in a room full of people that would know it better than at the Venice Film Festival where it's, dubbed. Non parlo italiano molto bene. I like it to go again.
I do just have to go back to the tribute video a little bit. There's so much Peacemaker in it.
Yes, that was the cheapest one we could get. There's a lot of really obscure bad films that didn't last that we were able to get very cheap for. I literally didn't know that he was doing that, and so it was truly like and then I thought maybe they're just doing this as a joke, and then he puts it in the movies. Oh, it's okay. At my age, you gotta kind of just take all the hits, take one chops of the chin, and just go, it's all right. So.
I mean, by the end of the film, we see Jay feeling differently about his work and his life. How did you feel about your work and your life after making a movie like this, where it's about a movie star who's not you, but is you?
Well, I would say that, for me, it's an interesting, you go on sort of interesting rides in life, and, careers. I was friends with Gregory Peck, and I was friends with Paul Newman. Even those guys, and they were the biggest movie stars in the world, even their careers don't just go like that. Your careers do this. That's how they ride. And my career has had many of those, many failures and many things that I wish I'd done better. And then you kind of look at it, and for instance, for the last 10 years or so, for the most part, I was directing because I was more interested in telling stories, and I wanted to continue to be a storyteller. But the parts that I was getting offered weren't all that interesting, and I thought, well, I need, you want to be inspired to do something. And so I hadn't really been in a film. I did a couple of movies. I did a movie with Julie Roberts, and I did a movie with Brad, which is fun, and they're fun to work with, and people that I know. But it's not challenging yourself. We know how this is going to end. We know what you're going to do. We know what the audience wants delivered for those films. So for me, it was more about when you don't feel like you have it, I did a play on Broadway this spring. Piss off a few people, but that's okay. I got a lot of tweets, angry tweets. What do you do? I'd be so ashamed if I didn't get angry tweets. But I didn't, I hadn't done a play in 40 years, and so I was nervous, and every night, but I was worried because you get older, it's hard to remember shit, your lines, and it's hard to remember shit. And so I was scared, and it's good to be 64 years old and not sure you can pull it off. And then we did it as a live show, which was balls out and hard to do. I mean, listen, we got the cameras in on a Friday night. We have an audience, so we got the cameras, they're all in the back. We put cameras in on Friday night. We were cabling up. Saturday, the matinee was our first camera rehearsal, and Saturday night, we did it live with 27 cameras, So it's like, you're scared. And I'm sitting there going, if I fuck this up, this is terrible. And so that's a good thing. And so when I'm doing this film, I was worried, or I was nervous, or I was on my back foot. You know, you're not going, I know how this, you know, sometimes as an actor, you can get guilty of playing the end, understanding what you have to get to, and sort of hedging your bet to get there. And this is a film and a story and a character that you had to sort of let those things get to. We knew that we had to, Adam and I had to stick the landing on the ending, right? But we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how it was going to work. So it's good to be nervous. You know, it's good to be worried that as you get older that you don't have the answers.
I think that's all we have time for. But we end with a wonderful George Clooney tip. It's good to be nervous.